When we share the gospel, we often think we need to present some giant, well-formed, well-scripted document, argument in favor of the gospel and Jesus Christ. And when we begin talking to somebody who is not part of our church or our faith or doesn't believe in Jesus, we need to have them in church and baptized by the end of our conversation. This is an incredible feat and one that most of us fail at. That's because we underestimate the power of small. I recently went to California and we got the opportunity to climb up a giant redwood tree, all very legally. It's one of the only trees, redwood trees, that you can climb. We didn't hurt the tree at all. Well, we were up in this giant redwood tree. The biologist we were with pointed out a really cool phenomenon in nature. Here, 100 feet up in this giant redwood tree, was growing a tiny oak tree. Yes, a tiny oak tree was going in a giant redwood tree. And she told us that every year that little oak tree that was 35 years old and about a foot tall, it produced one full-size acorn. One acorn on one little oak tree 100 feet up. What impact could that little acorn have? Except that she told us about 100 years prior, a disease had come through, and it had destroyed most of the oak trees, in that region. That all of the oak trees had been infected by this disease and they had been wiped out. But this little oak tree somehow had gotten up into this giant redwood tree, and years later was unaffected by the disease. And it was dropping an acorn every year down to the forest below. And from each one of those little acorns could start a new oak forest. They would germinate, and she told us in another 50 years, come back and you'll see oak trees here. All because of this little oak tree and one tiny acorn. The same thing works in our mission when we share the gospel with others. You might feel like a small little oak tree at times, just dropping one little seed and hoping that it will sprout. But never underestimate the power of small things. A kind word, a smile, a prayer, a handshake, loyalty, honor, forgiveness, grace. All of these things that seem small to us are actually very big in sharing the gospel and the love of Jesus with people around us. Never underestimate the power of small.